Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of F1 24 Career Mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have the crown jewel of Formula 1. It's the Monaco Grand Prix. Very excited for this one now as we are coming into this weekend. We are now a 69 nice overall rated driver. Just one rating away from hitting our goal that we set at the very start of our career at a 70. A few things coming into this weekend that I think you guys are going to admire and enjoy. The first thing is Williams Golf livery is being used this weekend. We have a special livery for this Monaco Grand Prix. You see it right there. Absolutely fantastic livery. I will have it linked down below in the description. On top of that, I'm using a new mod, and this mod is built to change the slipstream, the dirty air effect on cars as well, and it should actually start to spread out some cars. On top of that, it's also changed performance values of teams. So Sauber is going to be slow as expected, and it kind of reorganizes the grid to be about where they should be in the actual R&D this season. Now, I'm only going to use this mod until they fix the actual game themselves. Codemasters does, which could be a couple weeks, it could be a couple months, we don't really know. So we do know there is a patch coming by the time this video is out. Actually, I believe the patch will be out and we will finally have AI mistakes and failures in the game. So as soon as those are out, and then we have this mod that spreads out the AI to be a lot more of a natural race, we're in business. I think we're going to have a fantastic career mode because aside from those flaws, I think there's so much potential in this game, and now I'm actually quite excited for the rest of this game series. I was a little bit concerned at first, but now I'm quite excited. I hope you guys are excited too. That was also another reason that I didn't want to post too many episodes early, is I knew there was going to be fixes coming, so I didn't want to go through a whole bunch of the career mode and kind of have a story get overblown, or not overblown, but overshadowed by the bugs in the game. So we've only done a handful of races, so I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Also, I choose quantity, not over quality, so I prefer to have my videos be really good instead of having them come out every single day and they just be subpar. So I prefer to go with the quality route, and I hope you guys can respect that and enjoy that. We come through though into qualifying after a pretty solid practice session. I was actually pretty happy with where we were in the car now. And of course, qualifying in Monaco is absolutely everything. You want to be putting in the 110%. You want to get as close to these barriers as you can, which opens the door for a lot more potential for mistakes and in the barrier and out of your qualifying. So you got to be careful, you got to be smart. And we were coming through into this weekend just hoping for the best. Q1 underway here, and I was waiting until we had clear racetrack now on the circuit, and we had exactly that. This Williams, even with the changes in the R&D, it's likely going to be a car that can reach the top 10 at a track like Monaco in qualifying. So that was the expectation for not only myself, but my teammate of ALBON, who's also now beat us, 3 Grand Prix in a row. But we were running him down at the end of Imola. The end of my first lap here in Q1, we come through to the stripe, and it's only P16, not enough, so I had to run another lap. I ran a bit of a cool down, came back into the pits, went out on the same set of tires because the tire wear was very low, and we're working our way through some traffic, but fortunately they were getting out of the way, so we gained a major amount of time, a full half-second of gains, but right there I invalidate my time, so I have to back it down, save as much battery as I can with only a couple of corners to spare, and try another one. We would be slotted in behind Lando Norris, and now suddenly the pressure is on. We have to get it done on this lap, otherwise we're out in Q1 just like in Imola. But Imola was due to, of course, a DRS failure that we missed at Q2, and we have found half a second this time. We haven't invalidated the lap, so as long as we keep this up, we're going to be fine, and it stays about that half-second buffer as we come around the final turn. Close to 6/10, does hit 6/10 to the line, a little bit of slipstream from Norris, and that's enough to put us up into Q2. Quite happy with that. P12 actually, so a very solid lap after a little bit more of a stressful qualifying session than it probably needed to be. Magnussen, Ocon, Gasly, Zhou, and Bottas there at the bottom of the grid, so you can see Kick Sauber definitely about more realistic where they should be with this mod that we're using here. Now as we come through to Q2, same situation, just running a lap when there's nobody else around us, just trying to make sure I have clear track around me, and we round this final turn, and it felt like an okay lap, and we cross the stripe and we go P11, so already better than Q1, but obviously not enough. Our teammate of ALBON is inside the top 10. My first lap right after I bailed on, and we would cool the car down again and make a second lap right at the end of the session on the same set of tires, and we found a good chunk of time already, 0.3 of a second, 0.4, and that 0.4 would carry on to 0.5 at the very end of the lap. This is going to be an absolute flyer of a lap here now as we round the final turn right against the barrier. You can't get any closer. 6.5 of a gain to the line. It's going to be top of the board in Q2. How about that? Alex Albon P10 as Ricardo, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, and Oscar Piastri down in P15. Looks like he just had a terrible lap now. Now, the confidence was high coming into Q3, making a lap right at the end of the session. It just felt like my laps were getting quicker as the session went on, so I decided to just wait until the end and just get the maximum we could out of this lap here. Now, as I wasn't too dissatisfied with the lap, but I wasn't totally satisfied with this lap here. Now, as we come through the backstretch chicane, but after just barely getting through into Q2, then going to the top of the board in Q2, coming into Q3, I didn't really know what to expect here now as we round these final couple of turns, and through the final right-hander quite close to the barrier again, DRS, ERS, and overtake now to the line, and it's only going to be P10. So that's a little bit disappointing, but at the same time we hit our expectation, which was make Q3. So P10 behind 9th place, our teammate of Alex Albon. It's a Red Bull 1-2, or no, it's not. Verstappen's up pole, then it's Leclerc, Perez down to P4. Let's head to the grid for the Monaco Grand Prix, the crown jewel of Formula One.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco, then, is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo. And although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Russell, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Albon, Golden Boy, Ricardo, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Magnussen, Ocon, Gasly, Joe, and Valtteri Bottas begins the race from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. And alongside me today, a man who I'm always pleased to see join me in the commentary box, Anthony Davidson. I know what we've got to do before the start of today's race, but what about our driver? What do the final hours look like for them?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
We're ready to go racing here from Monaco now, and you can see actually 2 stops appear to be faster, but we know that's not going to work in Monaco, so we will stick with the 1-stop strat.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
We see some split strategy here, some on hards, the top 4 all on hards, and then some in the mid-teens, everybody else on the medium compound tire.
As the cars make their way back to the starting grid to form up up and get ready for lights out. Let's hope the race ahead today is a thrilling one that will go down as a memorable Grand Prix in the history books.
Okay, mate, it's Monaco. Great job this weekend so far. Be patient, you know how it goes here.
Yeah, 10-4. Thanks to the whole team, everyone here, everyone back at the factory for the hard work this weekend. So let's have a good one. Let's finally, hopefully, beat our teammate today. Verstappen, Leclerc at the front of the grid. Leclerc won this race in real life. Can he do it for his first win of this season? Or, if Verstappen wins today, win 60 to his Formula One career. Following today's episode, you'll see it going into the next episode. The Indy 500 will be taking place. We'll get an update on that and a crown jewel in NASCAR with the Coke 600 as well, as we'll be keeping tabs on how that goes. Now we're ready to go racing. 5 red lights of Williams Golf's machines underway here as we're racing in 39 laps of endurance in Monaco up the inside of Lando Norris, who's going to get ahead of me. Ricardo's gone around the outside actually of Albon and has gotten ahead of him, and he's alongside me, but we'll get ahead of him. So we got a car between ourselves and Albon now as Verstappen is out in front of Leclerc. Perez is going to get through maybe on Carlos Sainz. These two are going to go at it now. The Mexican on the left, the Spaniard on the right. Who's going to back out of it? None of them, as they're going to go side by side down the elevation into the hairpin here. As everyone else in the background, you see a few side by side moments. I've still got Ricardo alongside me, but I'm going to clear him into the right hander. These two still side by side. No contact. What a drive from Perez to keep it pinned around the outside, but this is where it's going to get interesting. Side by side through the tunnel, continuous wheel-to-wheel action. Perez has the advantage, but no, Sainz fights back, and Perez hits the wall on the left side with the left rear. No damage somehow. We continue on as everybody now finally starts to settle in. The pair of Saubers at the back there in that black and green kick-sponsored livery. We settle into P8 behind the two-time world champ Fernando Alonso in the Aston Martin now, and you're going to see as this race plays out, this mod that spreads out the AI, I can confirm already it works here in Monaco, which was quite impressive, and I'm excited for seeing the future races of this career mode with this mod, but you'll just have to be patient and wait for it to actually develop throughout the video here now. As we come to lap 3, DRS has already been enabled, of course, for a full lap beforehand, and Verstappen and Leclerc, they've gotten away because Sainz and Perez battled so much on that opening lap. They were able to just check out, of course, so they said see you later, and they've already put themselves into position to be a P1, P2 kind of day for them now, as we're just continuing to chill here behind Fernando Alonso. Monaco is simple. You pretty well get what you can in turn 1 and you settle in that spot and wait for a pit stop and then hope you can maybe get the undercut on somebody at a pit stop cycle. Sometimes you can maybe get an overtake done if someone in front of you is really struggling, but that's quite rare. So yeah, right now we run P8, P10 for the pair of Williams Golfs. Love this livery on this car. It looks so good. Maybe we'll have to use it a few more times throughout the season. Let me know your thoughts down below, but it felt right to use it for Monaco as we come to lap 7, and we're starting to put a little bit of pressure on Fernando Alonso here, and actually a little bit of radio from the Spaniard as we come through to lap 7.
I think I'm down on power, guys.
You hear Alonso there, he thinks he might be down on power, so that's an opportunity for me. You can see just how much we're on the back of him here as we go into the tunnel, but over the next few laps he was able to kind of stabilize the gap a little bit, and he was actually pulling away a little bit again here. You can see now the gap increasing to about 0.7 of a second here. Now our pit window not opening till 14-15 area, somewhere in there now as we come through to lap 10 at this point, and it's all Max Verstappen, 4 seconds nearly in front of Charles Leclerc, then Sainz about 3.2 seconds back. As you can see, this little group here of Perez, Russell, Norris, Alonso, myself, all following suit here now, and then Ricardo, Albon holding the final point there, and then V-Carb looking quite a bit better with this mod. That changes the performance, but look at the track map, look at the back half of the grid. They're starting to fall off of the grid, which would have never happened before, so that is fantastic to see, and the 2 Alpines are back there, the 2 Saubers are back there, and yeah, I love what I see so far. Lewis Hamilton, he had a grid penalty, so he of course started a little bit further down the grid. A frustrating day this is going to be for Hamilton. If he can find a way to get a point out of this, that would be quite impressive now as we come through to the end of lap 11 towards lap 12, and again we're starting to put a bit more pressure on Alonso. He's still struggling with whatever's going on in that Aston Martin, and we put a second now just about between ourselves and Ricardo as he is able to gain that back quite quickly, but we are right on the back of Alonso now as we come through to lap 13, and as you look look at the track map, you're seeing more and more spread between the AI, a lot more natural. I love what I'm seeing here, as we are still on the back of Alonso here. Now on the run towards the backstretch chicane, look how close we are, putting some pressure on the Spaniard. We might have an opportunity here to get a move done now as we come through turn 1, lap 14, right on the back of Alonso. We're just going to have to be patient. We need to wait for the right opportunity. On the back of him again, he goes defensive into the braking zone. Ricardo, Albon just behind, ready to pounce on an opportunity if it presents itself now, as we are right on the back of Alonso coming through the tunnel. This is the opportunity within half a car length. Where do we make the move? We go right. He protects left side by side with the world champ in towards the chicane, and contact and damage done to the right side of the front wing, and as well Alonso's got damage. As we'll take an immediate look at the replay, Alonso on board, I left him room. He just turns into the barrier, and well, he cleaned us both out. I've got damage. I need to pit immediately. I'm coming to you.
That was all me, guys. Sorry.
Alonso takes blame over the radio. He is in front of Ricardo and Albon, so he was slowing them up. We come in, so obviously we're going to have to do a wing change. That's what Alonso's coming in to do. We're in our rough pit window, so we're both going to come in and put on a hard compound, and we can go to the end without any issues here. So that's at least the fortunate side of things. There is potential, because we're going to be on our own. So yeah, we just had an 8-second pit stop, but I think we can make up the 5 seconds, because we're going to have clear track behind Fernando. Both of us are going to have clear track, and although you can see the spread, it's working tremendously. This is fantastic, but there's still, it's still Monaco at the end of the day, and that means this car is still grouped together in that Monaco way, so they're still going to be slower than us, and as well, we're going to be just running straight up quicker lap times now, as the tire fall off is quite big here. Now, and you're seeing pit stops now. There's Norris and as well Yuki Tsunoda. This is going to be a big telltale sign. They were in our general area. Norris actually had a pit stop issue. That's going to be perfect for us, but he would actually be out in front of us quite easily, and so would Tsunoda. But we would get out in front of Lewis Hamilton, who had pitted. So Hamilton didn't quite make up enough time. He's been stuck in traffic all day with that grid penalty to start the Grand Prix now. But look at this. We're coming up on the back of a group of traffic here, and that is because we have one of the kick Saubers, Valtteri Bottas, there in front, and he is way off the pace, and he's got, of course, a lot more tire wear, so that's not adding any assistance here, but he pits at the end of the lap. But look how far off he was. I mean, that grips us right together, and at this moment, Albon's into the pits, and so is Daniel Ricciardo, so we're coming around this front straightaway to be right alongside Albon, so you can see we've made back up the time, but so is Alonso. He's gotten through. Unfortunately, we come up behind our teammate, Lance Stroll, just behind Hamilton, so with the damage that we got, yeah, I mean, we end up getting the short end of the stick, and again, a big stack up here, because Zhou Guan Yu is now the Sauber in front of us, but he pits there, so yeah, you can tell tire fall off is causing quite a lack of pace in some of these cars. I mean, we took full advantage of that, but it slowed us down by 4 seconds over the course of that lap. That's how much just a car being in front of this train that's off the pace can slow up everybody. And then we were coming up on eventually a pair of Alpines that started on the hard compound tires. They are also going to be a bit of a concern a little bit later on here now, but as we let these laps click on, I was a bit surprised by the lack of pace I was putting up against Alex Albon here. He was able to comfortably stay ahead of me, and I just wasn't quite able to challenge him. Fernando Alonso had driven away from all of us, and he had actually run down George Russell, Lando Norris, who were stuck behind the pair of Alpines of Gasly and Ocon. So as they're stuck behind the two Alpines, that's bringing this group of cars up into the mix. Tsunoda, Albon, myself, Hamilton, and Lance Stroll, as well as Daniel Ricciardo, who's lost some spots through the whole pit cycle. So Piastri as well at the back of this train. So this is actually going to be the first time we see a true train all episode long, but at least it's because of something just Monaco-y with slower cars being in the way, and it's not just because of the train effect. So we're just gonna have to wait for them to pit, and one of the Alpines pits here at the end of lap 24, and that was Esteban Ocon. So he's in, and now we just need to wait for Pierre Gasly to come into the pits, and then it's kind of game on for the closing 14 laps of this Grand Prix when we come around one more time. Max Verstappen also pitting for the medium compound tire at the end of lap 24. He's been dominating this race, and actually, surprisingly, he's going to have to wait for Leclerc, but I don't think he's too concerned. Leclerc comes in. He'll get a pair of medium compound tires on as well here now, as I don't expect to see a safety car. This could be the last episode where we don't see AI mistakes, so safety cars and whatnot should be a lot more common following today's episode episode, I'm hoping. As you can see now, we go through into the top 10 after Gasly had made his pit stop. So now we have no slower traffic in front of this group of cars. So now it's just game on, and you can tell everyone has turned it up and is going. So Max Verstappen, he's going to be well out in front, as you can see on the track map now. Leclerc, Sainz, Perez, and then we run down here in P10. How about Lewis Hamilton? I mean, still a very solid drive through the grid to get up at least into P11 through this traffic here now as we come up towards the final 10 laps of this Monaco Grand Prix. And this has been a fun Monaco Grand Prix to watch play out. I've actually really enjoyed this race as Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But my frustration is we're stuck behind our teammate that we were ahead of for the majority of the first half until we got that damage racing alongside Fernando Alonso. We need to find a way around him, but first, let's go through the grid.
Max Verstappen leads again with 10 laps to go in the Monaco Grand Prix. If he wins today, he will eclipse 60 wins all time in his career.
Charles Leclerc looks like he will have to settle again for a podium and no more. How about the field spread today, Crofty? Ted, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, guys, so the sport has quietly made some changes this weekend to the rear diffusers of each car, which is supposed to create some more dirty air and allow us to see the type of racing that we are used to seeing. So far, it seems to be working to perfection.
We love what we're seeing, Ted. If we're seeing it work here, I imagine it should work great everywhere else. You see the pair of Williams drivers in 9th and 10th there.
Owen was ahead until that contact with Alonso, but still a good run going. Albon has really been punishing Owen recently. Rookies often get a bit over their head in a situation like that, so I'm curious to see how Owen takes these final 10 laps.
Zhou Guanyu brings up the back of the grid there in the Sauber. He's actually about to go a lap down, which is going to be a first in this series so far. That tells you the mod's doing the actual work it needs to be doing. So less than 10 laps to go, and we need to find a way around Alex Albon. Mark, what's the deal here? How hard can I race him?
As hard as you want, as long as you keep it clean and don't cost the team points.
You hear it there. As hard as you want, just keep it clean and don't cost the team points. We're running out of time. Lap 34 of 39. Verstappen continues to run away off in the distance now as Albon continues about 4 to 5 tenths of a second on average ahead of myself here, but we close in here as the lap goes on, and then it kind of hovers around the same margin for the majority of the lap, just looking for the opportunity. Tsunoda has not gotten away. Alonso has. He has driven away alongside Lando Norris as well as George Russell as we continue to just be patient, waiting for the right opportunity. Lap 36, 4 laps to go. You see the clouds building above us. No weather going to be a threat here as I'm trying to save up as much battery as I can now, as I'm just deciding, okay, we're going to focus on the final lap. We're going to save up all this battery, go into hot lap on the final lap, and just give it everything. Just absolutely send it. I am going to be quite disappointed in myself if we leave Monaco without at least making some kind of attempt, some kind of move to get past our teammate of Alex Albon. He's beat us the last 3 consecutive Grand Prix. He outqualified us again this weekend, but we had him beat for the majority of this Grand Prix. Final lap underway. Here we go. Max Verstappen's already on the back half of the circuit, coming up on some more lap traffic, but we have a whole lap of racing to go. What can we do with Alex Albon? We stay right tucked up behind his rear wing, up the elevation through towards the end of this first sector, but Max Verstappen, the focus is on him in this exact moment because it's a monumental one. Max Verstappen rounds the final turn, win number 60 of his F1 career in a crown jewel in Monaco.
Let's go. Thank you guys, thank you. What a lovely drive today.
60 career wins from Max Verstappen. The race continues on between myself and my teammate of Alex Albon. Can we catch him off guard? We have plenty of battery to use. We're tucked up right on his rear wing. Now the 2 Williams Golf liveries are about to go at it through the tunnel. We're tucked up on the back. He's trying to pull away, and I can't quite gain. Now we are. We're going to make the lunge up the inside of Albon. We lock up into the braking zone. We run him wide, and Albon's going to slip through and take the position back now, and it'll be P10. We're not going to have an opportunity now. P9 is what Albon's going to get, and I don't think he's going to be thrilled with that move for the second time this season. This time we pushed him off track again. He was able to get the position out of it now as we round these final turns now and actually tap the back of his right rear, but round the final turn after a big desperate move. It's P10 anyways. We don't gain or lose anything. Albon P9, P10 for us here in Monaco. Sorry guys, I went for it. P10, P9 for the team, we'll take it.
Gary, it's James. I know you're a rookie, but we need to have a chat about that move. Come see me in the paddock.
I appreciate you going for it, mate. Sorry, it didn't quite work out there.
What a stupid move. I could have taken both of us out for nothing.
It's the one that everyone wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco.
Well, that's going to lead to a spicy start to the next episode. You guys will hear everything that you need to hear in the start of the next one. Now, as Max Verstappen will celebrate a victory now, and of course the pair of Ferraris trying to keep at least Red Bull honest, as Verstappen is running away already with the world title. But like I said, Ferrari at least trying to keep Red Bull honest when it comes to the Constructors' Championship. They're finding ways to keep Perez, of course, off of the podium and whatnot there. So you see Leclerc and Sainz still, I mean, putting up a great resume to solidify his future in Formula 1, as Lewis Hamilton will be moving into that Ferrari at the end of season number 1. As you see, the Red Bull team there all standing around watching Verstappen celebrating the victory. Those beautiful Monaco trophies there in the background, of course, with the shape of the Monaco circuit. Love those trophies now, as we will as well see Adrian Newey celebrating on that podium with them. But yeah, overall, I mean, it was a fun race with the mod and spreading out the cars. That was great. I really enjoyed that, and it kind of restored my excitement for this game because there was concerns. Hamilton pointless because of course, starting down the order. Piastri never went anywhere. After a poor qualifying effort, Zhou Guanyu ends up one lap down in dead last, P20. Verstappen with a 44-point lead. Albon, of course, beats me again. He's P9 while we're P11. And in the Constructors, Ferrari is 50 back from Red Bull while Williams runs P6. They're 14 ahead of Sauber. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching and have a great day.